Okay, hi, good morning. So, wow, I had a kind of a jarring wake up this morning, which I'll talk about in a moment, but I just came out of prayer and I was on my prayer mat just in the aftermath of this like early wake up, and I feel so, well, I'll talk about this, but I feel so grateful for my father and for having relationship with Father God. Okay, so it's like 6 a.m. and I'm pretty sensitive to sound. I wake up pretty easily from sound, and so there's helicopters flying outside my apartment, not right outside, but a little bit further away, and yeah, I didn't know what it was. And when I get jarred out of sleep, and especially when I haven't gotten enough sleep, my brain can kind of go a little bit like, oh my God, what's going on? Wired for survival. What can I say? And, I have practices to stay with myself and, be alert without freaking out, right? But I have a very active imagination, so it can go in a lot of different directions. And I tried texting a couple friends and even calling, and no one answered. And then I was like, I'm gonna call my dad. And I just gotta tell you, like, I'm so grateful to have my father. And first of all, I'm just so grateful to have my father. And I just started feeling, as I got into my prayer mat and started having a relationship or having a conversation with God, with Father God, I just started feeling all this sadness for all the women who don't have a relationship with their father, or who have a really hard relationship with their father, who maybe their father has passed away, and like there's just this such a sweet, innocent, precious like part of the feminine heart and being that feels so like innately protected by Father. Like that's the natural way. That is what is intended for us. And so women who have like a fractured relationship with Father, that's a hard wound. That is a hard wound. That is a wound that drives women into like full self-protection. I've got to do everything on my own, and I can only imagine the amount of women who have deep like physiological, emotional challenges and turbulence because of that fracture, because of that feeling separate from, or disowned by, or hurt by, or ignored by Father. And I had to go through a long period in my 20s of really, well, first of all, leaving my childhood home and going first to college for a couple of years, and then moving halfway across the country to Colorado with an ex-boyfriend, and then again to Texas, having, never been to Austin. So I left my family in like Connecticut, and you know, I have family in Connecticut, like New York, New Jersey. But my closest family and my, you know, yes, we grew up in Connecticut. So I left for a decade. I left for like a decade, and I barely saw my family. I barely saw my parents. And I really went on this whole journey of like finding forgiveness for the things that I felt angry about from my upbringing, my childhood, and the things that I felt bitter about. And I will tell you right now, I am so glad. I'm so glad that I was willing to do that. I'm so glad that, you know, I was willing to go on the journey of finding like a rightness with my upbringing and with my parents and with my family. It's been one of the greatest gifts of my life. There were ways that I see I could have stayed in a place of blame toward my parents for the rest of my life, and just been in this, well, I didn't get this, and you didn't give me that, and you didn't teach me that, and all this stuff. And I will say, I always had a sense of gratitude that like, at least I had a, you know, somewhat positive relationship with my mother and father, even though I had some challenges in, especially with my mother growing up. I was very close with my dad. But it was more the things that, yeah, it wasn't, well, I won't go into it, but I just want to say that I'm so grateful that I found forgiveness for the things that I previously felt upset about. Well, what I will share is that part of the reason that I have gone down this path of really valuing communicating well and having healthy relationships is because, you know, there were ways that I don't feel that I was fully modeled that when I was young, and what that is. And the thing is, I don't blame my parents for this anymore. I used to, but now I just see that they came from a family system where they didn't get modeled like truly, fully like healthy relationships and communication. And I have, by the way, like I'm so grateful for my relationship with my parents right now. Like, again, so glad that I went on this journey so that I could come to this place of like, I love them so much. And I just held all this bitterness for so long, you know? And so I'm sharing all this because, again, I realized that not everyone has this kind of like good, you know, relationship with their parents, and specifically talking about father, right? And I've said this probably already on this channel, and I'll say it again. This is why creating relationship with God the Father, amongst the many reasons that there are to have this relationship, but to have this relationship, because if a person, and I'm talking, you know, this applies to anyone, and I'm speaking to like the hearts of women, especially right now. If a woman does not have a good relationship with father, it's like her relationship to man itself, to man, the idea of man, the expression of man, the embodiment of man, and father, right? That relationship itself will have fracturing. It's like God becomes a way to heal and mend and repair our relationship to relationship. If I can find what and have what I need in relationship with Father God, if I can create that for myself and create that relationship through actually showing up and sharing my heart and bearing myself and sharing my prayers and my fears, right? All of that. And then also being, not to mention, in community with other people, and for women with other women, where we talk about and honor God and honor Father God, honor Father together. That is the repair that this has done for my heart and soul. It's a whole new life. It's a whole new life. Deep repair of relationship with Father, with the masculine. But like with Father. So no matter what happens, I have that to rest into. And I just happen to also be a woman who has her mortal father still around, who I can call at 6:30 in the morning and say, Dad, I feel scared. Oh, God bless him. Like I just started weeping too when I was in prayer and on my prayer mat before, about like little girls and daddy, like little girls, the little girl in every woman having a daddy who cares for us, who cherishes us. Like every little girl deserves that. Every little girl, and by extension, every woman deserves that. And if we didn't have that, then something else you'll learn about me is I come back to personal responsibility. How can I be responsible for my own life, my own self, my own experience of this life, right? And so if a woman didn't have that as a little girl, she doesn't have that as a woman. It's like invitation to take responsibility for creating that relationship now. The way that that is in service to a woman's heart and soul, that nothing compares. Nothing replaces that. And then the way that that is in service to all of her relationships, every single one of her relationships with men. It's a whole new life. It is a whole new life, having relationship with Father who loves you. So that I'll speak for myself, right? I'm not going out and chasing validation and love from mortal men. That I have learned how to have a spine, because what would a godly father who loves and cherishes me want for his daughter? He would not want her to be a doormat. He would not want her to be a people pleaser. He would want her to ensure that she is taken care of, right? And not in this way that, oh, I've got it all, right? But like she's resting in his care. And yes, like I'm the woman who takes the actions in my life and says the words to create, my world and my relationships, but that I'm rested in Father, that he loves me so much that he wants the best life for me, the best husband for me, the best, healthiest body for me. And it's just so interesting. I think I was talking about this in my last video diary, about the journey that I went on of like self-love, right? And like trying to generate this all myself. Oh, I love myself. So I'm not gonna be in unhealthy relationships, right? Whatever. Yes, like if that works, beautiful, go for it. What I have found is nothing compares to me having an identity as beloved daughter. All the self-love, self-help in the world does not compare to me having an identity as beloved daughter of Father God. It's like I could have just kept going down that route of like, oh, loving myself and affirmations and, but it's really been coming deeply into this identity, reforming my own identity as daughter of God who is loved and cherished by Him. That's our first relationship. When we're born into this world, our first relationship is with mother and father. Okay, our mortal mother and father. But again, they are expressions of the divine mother and father. Like, that is our first relationship. It's almost like even before we have a perception of self, we have perception of other because we are dependent on these beings. You come out the womb and you are dependent on these beings that you have just met to take care of you. You entrust them with your literal survival. And I'm sure I'll talk about this more, but this is why having children, the gravitas of having a child, this being, like the environment that a child is born into. This is part of the reason why in my lifetime I feel so devoted to having people have strong unions and marriages, is because when a child is born into a strong, healthy, vibrant, loving marriage union where the two parents have they have like a romance and eroticism and joy and like life in their relationship, like that is such a healthy system for a child to be born into. I want this for every child, It doesn't mean I'm upset when, children aren't born into those kinds of systems. We meet life as it comes, literally. The child is born, and now what, right? Like, we tend to the child as best we can. I feel that most people, almost everybody, okay, is doing the best that they can. And I'm so glad that we live in a time where we have access to information and how to live healthier lives, right? If we so choose. And that we also get to be modeled that from people who are living in ways that are healthy and life-giving and vibrant and successful, and satisfied in the world, right? And that's, to train the mind to like look and in train to such people, but not to get lost in watching other people's lives. It's like, learn what you can from people who are doing it well and then go apply it to your own life, right? It's for each of us to choose. But yeah, wow, I just, this is something that I will just continue to sing the praises of, is everyone having relationship with Father God, right? Everyone in the sense of everyone who is willing and wanting and feels called and resonant, right? I obviously can't force everyone. Like, it's an invitation. It's an open invitation to have relationship with God. And yeah, special invitation for women, to bring, if you have any hardship around your mortal father or men in general, to use the relationship with God, have the relationship with God be your place where you repair that relationship with man, with the masculine principle. And also just, wow, shout out to my dad. I love you so much, bendición. I don't know if he'll ever watch this. We'll see. I might share my YouTube with him at some point. But I actually feel like I really want to do an interview with him. It'd be epic. Yeah, that's what I have to say about that, and sending you all so much love, and my goodness, just a prayer for repair. A prayer for repair. Where is a place in your life where you can bring a sense of repair to, even if you're a man, your relationship with man, with God the Father, with the cosmic masculine, right? It's a place we can all bring greater repair, healing, love, attention, affection, and receiving his love. And seeing and feeling what that does for our lives. So, okay. Off to take my morning walk.